Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. I hope you guys are doing well.
We always hope you're doing super well.
Fabulously well.
Yes.
And we hope you're preparing and taking care of yourself if you're out here in the West in this dangerous heat. Look at these temperatures, 118, 115, 115. Well, that's what we have, 115 today. You know, it is toasty out here. It is seriously toasty. So obviously plan outdoor activities. You know, you really can't stay out there when you have these type of temps past maybe like 10 a.m. and then go back to doing something outdoors, maybe at like 7, you know, for like an hour of light.
Yeah, usually by actually more like 8 a.m.
So, yeah, it's been intense in the Southwest for sure. It's been super intense and unrelenting. And I was looking at the 10-day forecast, and it's pretty much all the same. You know, it's brutal. And as we were talking about in the last video over on Evolutionary, can you imagine if the grid went out? For a lot of people, these temperatures would not even be survivable without AC.
No, they absolutely wouldn't. People are a little soft too.
Well, I think our forefathers were tougher than us. I mean, they were used to doing things out. They didn't have AC, you know, 100 years ago. So, you know, there's a reason why people moved to certain areas, stayed away from certain areas, and, you know, eventually adapted to certain areas. And humans can be very, very hardy when they have acclimated themselves, let's say, to certain areas. But the record heat that we have from California to even all the way to Florida, it's just amazing, the record heat that is going. Heat alerts are in effect from California to Alabama, as high temperatures will be 10 to 15 degrees above average on Sunday. Vegas, Phoenix, and Tucson all see high temperatures of at least 110 degrees. All three are likely to tie or break. Daily record high temps in Texas. Cities including Dallas, San Antonio, and Lubbock are all going to exceed 100 degrees. Cities in New England are also under heat advisory, including Boston and Providence, where the heat index up to 96 is anticipated. You could have 40 new possible records being set.
That's pretty big.
All across the South. So, you know, again, be very, very careful. Desert heat is different. Yeah, it certainly is. And you could talk about, you know, how humidity can make it miserable. And it's honestly true. When I first moved to Columbia, South Carolina, in August, I was working outdoors, and it was brutal. I think we had 17 days that were over 100 pretty much in a row. And that was with really, really high humidity. I had to bring 2 or 3 shirts just because you would drench one, change into another, drench that one. Out in the West, you know, it's different. It is different in the dry heat, but what you can have is you could have yourself getting so dehydrated and, you know, have heat exhaustion so quick. You really have to be mindful of it.
Absolutely. Really mindful, because it's a dry heat. You dry out faster too.
It really does feel like it's taking all the moisture out of your body, period. And so we have flash flood warning in effect for Tioga County, Pennsylvania till 9:30 this evening. So be aware of that. And China raised its flood response alert on Sunday to the second highest level as heavy rain battered regions along the Yangtze River in the eastern provinces of Jiangsu and Jiangxi among the worst hit. And, of course, we're still watching the whole dam situation over there as well. And, you know, hopefully that won't break because, you know, there's 400 million people, you know, basically in the path if it did break, as well as all sorts of different facilities from nuclear power plants to, you know, high-level labs that have all sorts of nasty viruses, and we certainly don't need any more nasty viruses in this world. Here out of Siberian Times, state of emergency continues in 59 districts of the Altai region, and this is the granary of Siberia. Unusually warm spring led to a very hot summer with very little rain, dry winds. In some areas, no rain for nearly 2 months, so obviously crop loss. And this is what we are getting into. Again, it's a symphony of destruction going on in a perfect storm scenario when it comes to crop loss and eventual famine. As you see here, breaking news, locusts attacked and crop loss in 5 districts. India is getting particularly hard hit. And this, as if you don't need any more parasitic things, these things are gross. Nematodes, or roundworms, protect the plant by attacking other pests. On the other hand, some species are vicious for the same. Potential crop loss each year is at least 80 to 118 billion globally due to them. Wow. Ontario, to ensure for crop loss due to lack of labor because of, well, our lockdown situation. So even if there was stuff to harvest, in many instances, there's not enough help to harvest.
Exactly, and that's kind of a nasty thing that they do, but they do it.
Now, in Assam and North Bengal, this is another part of India, you got over 20 inches of rain in 2 days. And this is affecting tea bush production, soil erosion as well. There's more rain in the forecast, loss of crop due to drought in other spots of India. And again, India and China, together, they have almost half the world's population. And both of these countries are getting devastated with various things, from floods to drought to infestation. And it's all going to lead to more desperate people trying to control dwindling supplies.
Yeah.
And this one's interesting because we've seen, like we were talking about Puerto Rico with a drought. It's an island surrounded by an ocean. In the Caribbean, what's going on? And they're getting hit with drought. And over here, this is an island territory too, getting hit with drought. It's just crazy. And over here, San Juan, we're looking at these more parasites here. Yeah. Let's see, Lepidoptera. They discovered it inside a box of bush tea, which we were talking about, sent via mail parcel. So, these little guys getting out and starting to damage the U.S. crop, it's all adding up here.
That's scary stuff.
So, what's it leading to? Starving people. And when we add in what's going on with, all the wars across the world for corporate interests, corporate gain, and, just nothing but greed, and it's disgusting. It really is disgusting. Yemen is a proxy war between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And here you see 360,000 severely malnourished children could die unless they get treatment, aid, and supply. And as this says, hello world, where is the love? We need more loving leadership in this world, more compassionate leadership. And Yemen is on the brink of famine as aid for the war-torn country runs dry. The UN is warning. Price of food has increased by 30%. What is available? The UN says it faces an unbelievable situation of having to stop fuel, water supplies, and sanitation systems in the country. It's an unthinkable situation going on there. And this tweet says, Happy 4th of July. This was from the 4th last week. Every 15 minutes, a child in Yemen dies of famine, cholera, or bombs.
And it's really sad because they do not have to stop the food. They don't have to stop anything. It's about money.
Money, power, control, and greed. So you have this situation going on, and I saw where Elon Musk made something like, $7 billion in just a short period of time. And, of course, we could look at Jeff Bezos. And, of course, we could look at Bill and Melinda Gates and all these different tremendously rich people just, getting enough in interest off their bank accounts on maybe a week to supply enough food for one of these countries.
Absolutely, they could. And they know they could. And this is the sick part.
The world system is broken, completely broken, and it's gonna go. It has to go because it's a system that does not work. And jumping over here, we see seismologists find slow earthquakes in Cascadia predictable. There's been a slow slip going on for a long time up in Cascadia. And as you know, 1700, they had the big one. It was somewhere around the 9.0, thereabouts, maybe even larger. And it created a massive tsunami, and it is something that is it does happen on a regular basis there as well. And so it's interesting to see all the science that's coming out. This is one of those areas that we really, really, really have to watch.
Absolutely, we do, for sure.
And there's a little diagram and videos for you guys to check it out. It is a slow slipping process, and as we said, Cascadia would most likely be the first major one to go the way the energy flows in the U.S., followed by San Andreas, and then we'd have to watch the New Madrid and cross our fingers that nothing happened at Yellowstone. Record snow and freezing temps hit parts of South America, so you have record snow down where it's winter, and we have absolutely record heats. So the extremes are getting more extreme.
Yeah, they really are.
And we have NOAA issuing a La Nina watch. Up to 55% chance of development during fall, persistent through winter. So, basically 55%, it's pretty much it's a 50-50. Toss your coin there, and you see the patterns of what happen if we do get that. And for those here in the West where a quote-unquote mega drought is building, it's not good. It's going to be drier.
I can't hardly believe, but it's going to be.
And we have yet another lake turning red, this time in Paraguay. And usually, this could be often it's due to runoff, and often is also due to bacteria. And it is situated on a farm about 9 kilometers south of the district. So who knows, but whether this particular case is more, toxic runoff. Neighboring small lakes within a radius of 500 meters did not change colors, had excellent values as far as the ecological balance. But we've seen this time and time again, and many people take it as a sign.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And we have a never-before-seen bacteria killing tens of thousands of fish in Victorville, California. Bulging eyes, erratic swimming, darkening skin, and a swollen abdomen. So yet one more thing to attack the food chain.
Ew.
And the creatures on the earth.
Yes.
And so over here we have a cancer warning over U.S. pork imports that are going to flood Britain. China lost half of its pig population for swine flu, and there's another outbreak going on.
So it really shows you that how much control they're getting over the food supply. It's just getting deeper and deeper.
More than 60 million pigs in the U.S. are treated every year with Carbadox antibiotic, which is banned in the U.K. but used in the U.S. to prevent disease. And yet there's warnings and concerns over its potential to cause cancer. There's quite a few things that are allowed in the U.S. that are not allowed in other countries. And that's something that makes you go, So how to harvest and preserve green onions, scallions, chives, all wonderful things to add some flavor to our food. And if you are a gardener and you like onions, definitely growing them, it would be a good idea.
I think they're good for parasites too.
Yeah, onions, all the things in the onion family, including garlic, anti-parasitic, antibacterial, also blood purifiers. You could clip them and let them keep growing. That's a wonderful thing. Now you could freeze them. This gets into that. We got to think about growing our own food. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, definitely.
You could also dehydrate them too, and still have a dehydrator and a vacuum sealer that I have not used yet, but we should get on that.
We're on it. We're on it.
Guys, thank you so much for your support on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi. We couldn't do it without you. Be prepared. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.